Welcome back to You Can Understand Shakespeare. Specifically, today, Hamlet. Even more specifically, Act 3, Scene 6. We're wrapping up Act 3, Scene 6 of Hamlet, which you can understand. You don't need to be afraid of it. All you need is an addition with some good footnotes. I got the Norton Shakespeare. And just listen along with me. So long as we overcome the 3 P's that prevent us from understanding Shakespeare, we got nothing to worry about. Poetry. He talks a little bit different. It's not always prose. Don't freak out. It's just extended metaphors. It's just inverted syntax. No need to worry. Number 2, performance. This is supposed to be embodied with people delivering it with passion and emotion. Nothing can take you farther away from Shakespeare than having a bunch of bored high schoolers just droned through this with no idea how the language is constructed. And last of all, prior knowledge. Shakespeare knows more words. He knows more meanings of words that we may know one meaning of, but he knows more. He has more historical knowledge, religious knowledge, just local knowledge of the time that's just been sort of lost to us. Just like how slang from 10 years ago is kind of lost on new people now, or maybe how you don't understand what the new slang is. Shakespeare just knows all this stuff, and it doesn't need to deter us. Because we got footnotes, and you got me, we can get through this. Let's hop into it. Act 3, Scene 6. We just left with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern taking Hamlet to come see the king after he has hidden Polonius's body. He murdered Polonius only 2 scenes ago. So enter the king with 2 or 3. So I have a stage direction that says that the king enters alone and speaks his opening line as a soliloquy. And that makes better sense that it has him enter with 2 or 3. But it's however you want to do it. These 2 or 3, it's more so just like, oh, there's people surrounding the king. These 2 or 3 aren't going to talk. So maybe it is just better to just have the king by himself deliver a soliloquy. Maybe it makes more theatrical sense. There's a lot of liberties that a director or an actor can take with Shakespeare. So the king enters. There may or may not be people with him. Doesn't really matter. I have sent to seek him and to find the body. So I have sent Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to seek him, Hamlet, and to find the body of Polonius. How dangerous is it that this man goes loose? Yet must not we put the strong law on him? He's loved of the distracted multitude. So he's loved by the distracted multitude, the multitude of people. People of Denmark love Hamlet, so we can't put the strong law on him. We can't punish him for this deed of killing Polonius because the multitude love Hamlet. So he's loved of the distracted multitude who like not in their judgment but their eyes, who choose not by reason but by external circumstance. So they like, but they do not like by judgment, by reason, by discerning things properly, but they like by their eyes, just what they see. And where 'tis so, the offender's scourge is weighed, but never the offense. So the offender's scourge is punishment, but never the offense. So where 'tis so, where it is the case that judgment is not used to judge, but rather the eyes, in that case, the offender's scourge, the scourge would be the punishment, the thing that hurts the punisher. That's what they weigh and go, oh, this is a pretty unjust punishment. But they never really weigh the offense, why he might be punished in the first place, because they all like him. So a court of public opinion would be on Hamlet's side, which is why Claudius is not going to punish him by the law's extent. He says, to bear all smooth and even, to manage all smooth and even, this sudden sending him away must seem deliberate pause. So it must be a pause that is deliberate. It must be carefully planned. And to make sure that everything goes smoothly and evenly, he's going to send him away to England. Diseases desperate grown by desperate appliance are relieved. So diseases that are desperately grown by desperate remedy are relieved. Desperate times call for desperate measures. If there's a desperate disease, a disease that makes you desperate, then you have to have some type of desperate cure. It's the only way to get it. And this is the only way that these desperate diseases are relieved, meaning cured, or not at all. So, enter Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, and all the rest. How now? What hath befallen? Just what's taken place. Where the dead body is bestowed, my lord, we cannot get from him. But where is he, Hamlet? Without, my lord, guarded to know your pleasure. Without just means not within. He is without. He's outside. Bring him before us. Rosencrantz called, ho, bring in the lord. Enter Hamlet guarded. The king is now going to interrogate him. Now, Hamlet, where's Polonius? And Hamlet answers a little puzzlingly. He says, at supper. At supper, where? Not where he eats, but where he is eaten. Whenever you see that apostrophe A, it means he. It's just a little bit of a dialect there. So where he's eaten. Now, you think about this where you generally think of he'd be eating somewhere. No, he is worms' food. right? Mercutio, when he dies in Romeo and Juliet, says, "You've made worms food of me." Or I'm paraphrasing that. Regardless, so he's at the supper where he is eaten. A certain convocation of politic worms are eaten at him. So a certain convocation of politic, meaning cunning worms, are eaten at him, meaning now at him. Your worm is your only emperor for diet. So the average worm is the only creature with a diet superior to a king's, meaning, if you think about it, the king has the best diet of all, but a worm will still eat the king's flesh. So a certain convocation, a certain gathering of politic worms. Now these could be legitimate worms that are cunning, but also it's a little bit of a phrase based on maybe the current political situation. There's also a lot more going on here. So the Diet Council of Emperor Charles V at Worms, which is a city, in 1521, called on Martin Luther to defend his new Protestant doctrine. So that is the Wittenberg, where Luther was at. That's the university that Hamlet was at. So he's maybe talking a little bit about worm, emperor, Diet. So your worm, your double play, right? Double play on the creature, the worm, but also the town worm, where they're having this big controversial meeting, is your only emperor, the Emperor Charles V, for Diet gathering, but also emperor, the worm is the emperor compared to you in terms of the diet. So there's a lot going on there. I think the best way that we can take it is that the worm eats better than the king. The only thing above a king is an emperor, sort of the king over all the other kings. So the only one better than the king is the worm in terms of diet, because kings can eat whatever they want, but worms will eat kings. Great. We fat all creatures else to fat us, and we fat ourselves for maggots. So we fat all creatures else, being like we all the other creatures besides ourselves, we fatten them up. We fatten them before the slaughter so that they will be good meat. To fat us, meaning to give us meat. Then we fat us, but we fat ourselves. We make ourselves bigger for maggots, because when we go into the ground, it's only maggots and worms that are going to eat us. Your fat king and your lean beggar is but variable service, 2 dishes, but to 1 table. So variable service means different courses. Whether you're a fat king or a lean beggar, we're all going to be dishes on the 1 table that worms eat. Little depressing. He says, that's the end. The king says, alas, alas. Hamlet, a man may fish with the worm that hath ate of a king, and eat of the fish that hath fed of that worm. So there's a little bit of a chain of events here, right? A man eats a fish. That fish ate a worm. That worm ate a king, and a fish ate that worm. What dost thou mean by this? Apparently he discerns there's some deeper meaning. Hamlet says nothing, but to show you how a king may go a progress through the guts of a beggar. Go a progress is a royal journey. The king is going to get over these puns, this side philosophizing. Says, where is Polonius? And Hamlet says, in heaven. Send thither to see. So send someone to go see, meaning you'd have to kill someone to go see. If your messenger find him not there, seek him in the other place yourself. The other place, as opposed to heaven, is hell. So you'd have to send a messenger to search heaven. You can find him in hell. Sort of alluding that Claudius is not going to go to heaven. Now, keep in mind, Hamlet has earlier had the opportunity to kill Claudius, but he found Claudius at what he thought were his prayers. And so he said, no, I'm going to capture him in the midst of some sin and kill him then, so he'll go to hell rather than heaven. So Hamlet's pretty convinced he's going to send his uncle/foster father to hell. But if indeed you find him not within this month, you shall nose him as you go up the stairs into the lobby. The king says, go seek him there. So that must be where he is. You shall nose him as you go up the stairs into the lobby. He's hidden around the stairs of the lobby of Elsinore. Hamlet says, I will stay till you come. He will stay till you come. Exit attendants. Hamlet, this deed for thine especial safety, which we do tender, which we value, as we dearly grieve for that which thou hast done, must send thee hence. This deed for thine especial safety, meaning especially for your safety, means that we tender you, but we also dearly grieve, Polonius says. We grieve what you have done. We must send you hence. We're going to send you away from here to England. Therefore, prepare yourself. The bark, a ship, is ready, and the wind at help. The wind is ready to sail the ship. The associates tend, meaning the companions await, and everything is bent, poised for England. Hamlet, for England? I, Hamlet. Good. So Hamlet is pleased to go to England. So is it if thou knewst our purpose? So You know why we're doing this. I see a cherub that sees them. So a cherub is a keen-sighted second order of angels. Cherubim symbolizes heavenly knowledge. So he doesn't see the purpose, but I see an angel that sees your purposes. But come, for England, farewell, dear mother, thy loving father, Hamlet. My mother, father and mother is man and wife. Man and wife is one flesh. So, my mother, come, for England. Now, keep in mind that Queen Gertrude's not here. So when he says, farewell, dear mother, he's saying that to Claudius. Now, this could just be an insult, being, kind of how people will rather wrongly say, like, oh, you hit like a girl and mean that as an insult, even though we shouldn't be referring to women and having that be an insult when a man's referred to in that manner. But he gives a reason. So, farewell, dear mother, he says, no, thy loving father, Hamlet, I am your father, because he's married into that. He says, my mother. Father and mother is man and wife. Man and wife is one flesh. So, you're my mother. Transitive property. Essentially, when you get married, you become one flesh. This is from the Bible. It literally become one flesh in the marital act. But from that point on, that sacramental union, you're supposed to regard man and wife as one entity, one organism. They remain separate entities. They're separate people, but they are one thing. It's not a perfect comparison, but how a violin, you have, is that a bow? Oh shoot, this is a little embarrassing. You have the thing that you pull, that you play a violin with, and you have the actual violin together. Together, they're separate. They're two separate things, but together they make up the instrument and they make up the music. So, if Claudius is married to his mother, and they are of one flesh, then they're one person. So he's going to refer to Claudius as his mother. Come, for England. He leaves. King says, follow him at foot, at his heel. Tempt him with speed aboard, so try to get him aboard quickly. Delay it not. I'll have him hence, I'll have him go forward tonight. Away, for everything is sealed and done that else bears on the affair. Pray you, make haste. So he's trying to get Hamlet on board. He's trying to put an end to this. Everyone leaves but the king. So now we get another one of his, we get to go inside of his mind and see what Claudius is thinking. And England, meaning the king of England, if my love thou holdst at aught, if you hold my love at any value, as my great power thereof may give thee sense, may give you a reason to feel the value of love. So if my great power, therefore, gives you sense of my love, since yet thy cicatrice, your respect unconstrained by an army of occupation, since yet thy cicatrice looks raw and red after the Danish sword, and thy the cicatrice is a scar. Since yet thy cicatrice looks raw and red, your scar after the Danish sword. So we have conquered you, right? There's a scar that is raw and red. And thy free awe, that is your unconstrained respect, pays homage to us, so we do not occupy you. You have a raw and red scar from the Danish sword. We have conquered you in the past, but we are not currently there. You freely are in awe of us, and you pay homage to us. Thou mayst not coldly set our sovereign process. So thou mayst not coldly set means indifferently view our sovereign process. Sovereign means ruling over process, what we're doing, which imports at full, which means our sovereign command, which signifies in detailed instructions, by letters congruing to that effect, that by letters construing to according to the effect, the present death of Hamlet, the death immediately of Hamlet, son-in-law. Do it, England. So let's bring this all out. So, and England, if my love thou holdst at all, if you value my love at all, and since my great power has given you sense of my great love for you, you have a red and raw scar from the Danish sword. You are freely in awe to us. You pay homage to us. So this is a past time when Denmark was ruling over England in some capacity, taking tax from him, these types of things. You may not coldly view our sovereign process, our ruling will, which it is important at full by these letters. These letters are going to tell you, they're going to import to you fully what I want. And that effect is the death of Hamlet. So he's sending Hamlet to England to be killed. Do it, England. Now he's not addressing England there, but he's sort of addressing them out. Oh, England, do it. I want you to kill Hamlet. For, like the hectic in my blood, he rages, and thou must cure me. The hectic is a fever. So Hamlet is like a fever in my blood. He is raging, and you must cure me. You'll cure me by killing Hamlet. Think about what he said earlier. Diseases desperate grown by desperate appliance are relieved, or not at all. So we find out that really the fever for him is Hamlet and Hamlet's actions. The only way he's going to get cured is by killing Hamlet. Till I know 'tis done, howe'er my haps, my joy will ne'er begin. So till I know 'tis done, till I know Hamlet has been killed, howe'er my haps, however my happenings, my fortune goes, my joys will never begin. So I'm not going to be happy until I know Hamlet is dead. Is he on to Hamlet? Does he think Hamlet knows the full extent of his crimes? He might suspect it. I mean, he's certainly guilty, and Hamlet is giving him plenty of cause for suspicion. So now we have counter moves. Hamlet is walking right into a trap set by Claudius to kill him. We'll have to see how that starts to resolve in Act 4. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.